Hey everyone, welcome back to Screen Time Breakdown. I'm your host, and today we're breaking down the latest Marvel Studios release on Disney+, Ironheart. Now, this series has been a long time coming. First teased in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and now, after tons of production delays and reshoots, Ironheart is finally here. The first 3 episodes are already streaming, with the remaining 3 dropping July 1. So, was it worth the wait? Let's suit up and find out. All right, let's talk about the central character, Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne. Now, we first saw her back in Wakanda Forever, and there was definitely a spark. Tech genius, ambitious, and quick-witted. In Ironheart, she steps into the spotlight. She's a student at MIT, trying to build the most advanced armored suit since Iron Man. Her goal? To be bigger than Gates, Jobs, Pym, and Stark combined. It's a pretty bold mission statement. But instead of building her future in a lab, Riri gets expelled for helping classmates cheat and, well, blowing stuff up. Naturally, she steals her prototype and jets off back home to Chicago. So basically, brilliant, reckless, and a bit selfish. Sound familiar? Yeah, she's definitely cut from the same cloth as Tony Stark. But here's the catch. She's not a billionaire. She's a young Black woman trying to survive and thrive with limited resources and no backup. That angle, super refreshing. But the execution, we'll get to that. Now, every Marvel hero needs a foil, and Ironheart brings in Parker Robbins, a.k.a. The Hood, played by Anthony Ramos. And let me tell you, he's slick, he's charming, and he's got a seriously cool magical cloak that lets him bend bullets and go invisible. He basically offers Riri her dream in exchange for helping him and his gang with some high-stakes heists. Sounds fun, right? But it's more than just bank jobs and gadgets. This show pits Riri's scientific mind against the supernatural. Think WandaVision, but less emotionally deep and more criminal underworld. The magical elements are a cool twist. You've got witches, dark dimensions, and a warning that magic always comes with a cost. But does Riri learn that lesson? Not really. In fact, that's one of the show's biggest problems. Now this is where things start to wobble. We're used to seeing Marvel characters go through the hero's journey. Sacrifice, growth, redemption. But with Riri, she kind of just spins her wheels. She gets involved in increasingly violent missions, drags others down with her, and by the end, spoiler-free, I promise, she makes a decision that feels like a giant step backwards. It's one of those, wait, did she learn nothing moments? There's even a secondary character, Joe McGillicuddy, played by Alden Ehrenreich, who starts off as this sweet, awkward inventor trying to avoid the shady path his dad took. But thanks to Riri, he spirals into a full-blown villain with lightning powers. It had potential as a cool Sins of the Father arc, but ends up just being another cliché. All right, let's give the show some credit. One of the strongest emotional threads is the relationship between Riri and her deceased best friend, Natalie, who reappears as an AI called Natale. This glitchy, brain-mapped digital assistant has all of Natalie's quirks and memories. At first, it's unsettling for Riri, but over time, it turns into a genuinely touching friendship. Think Jarvis meets Vision, but with the rawness of real grief. Thorne and Lyric Ross, who voices Natalie, have amazing chemistry, even when one's just a voice in a machine. These scenes are where the show really shines, with humor and heart. Let's talk visuals. Ironheart looks great. The VFX? Top tier. The finale? Massive in scale. And that final battle, without spoiling, delivers on the hype. Chicago is beautifully woven into the show's DNA, too. Riri's world feels grounded and real, which adds some weight to the high-tech chaos. The cast? Phenomenal. Thorne brings a layered performance, equal parts brilliance and insecurity. Anthony Ramos is magnetic as the Hood, and Ehrenreich nails the tragic slide of Joe. The problem is the script just doesn't support them enough. So what's the final verdict? Ironheart isn't a disaster. It's not Secret Invasion bad, and it has more going for it than Miss Marvel, but it doesn't hit the highs of Loki or WandaVision. It's a series that looks amazing, features a strong new lead, and gives us some cool magic versus tech action. But narratively, it plays it too safe. Riri's arc lacks payoff, the villains are forgettable, and the ending feels more cynical than heroic. Still, I'm not ready to write Riri Williams off. Dominic Thorne is electric, and there's enough potential here to build on. Maybe not as a franchise launcher, but as a piece of a bigger puzzle in the MCU. Oh, and there's a post-credit scene that hints at a major new player in the MCU. I won't spoil who, but let's just say big things could be coming. That's it for this week's Screen Time Breakdown. If you've watched Ironheart, hit us up on socials and let us know. Did Riri's journey work for you? Are you excited to see her again in future MCU projects? Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow Marvel fans. I'm your host, and I'll catch you when we break down whatever's lighting up our screens next.